I've been a criminal my whole life, but I'm done with that. I'm in retirement currently until I need something really bad. As a previous master criminal, I'm gonna be giving my advice to these dumbest criminals of all time. Without further ado, we have a man by the name of McNelly. I don't know. That sounds like an African disease. On a sunny day in March, McNelly, a 17-year-old boy in Omaha, Nebraska. It's Omaha. Omaha! Well, even still, I feel like that's got to be the widest place on the planet. Decided to stick a gun in the face of a woman who is taking her son to school. Okay. Nothing wrong so far. Demanding that she give him her car. She, of course, obliged, and the boy was about to take off when he realized the car had a manual transmission, which he was unable to drive. After moving the car only a matter of yards in a few minutes, he decided to bolt on foot, but was eventually caught by authorities. Right. So, right off the bat, I'm gonna say he should have stolen another car. Why stop your luck there? Just keep going.
Don't make me shoot you, homie.
Use your gun for what you have it for. Stick someone else up. Also, one of my crimes this just brought up, I also don't know how to drive a manual. I've learned before, and it was in the shittiest car. So to be fair, if it's a newer car, I could do it, I think. But if the cops did see me in a manual car, they would probably think I was on fentanyl. Derek Mosley. Planning is hugely important when trying to pull off a crime. I beg to differ. Sometimes it's fun to just do it in the moment. Sticking up old people will never get old. Every time I hear them shit them pants, it gives me so much joy. And it's essential to the success of the act that every detail be well thought through in advance. But Derek Mosley didn't place very high importance on these things before he decided to rob a gun store. Armed with only a baseball bat. Alright, I'm glad I didn't read these beforehand. This makes it way better. Yeah, so he only had a baseball bat and he was robbing a gun store. Okay. I don't see the issue. Have you ever heard of the element of surprise? Like, did he just run in there with the bat ready? Give me all your guns! Like, no. If he has 99 sneak, he's gonna crouch, go in, go behind the counter, and just beat the shit out of the owner and then steal the guns.
What? Someone will suffer for this injustice.
Yeah, and the manager pulled a gun on the would-be robber and kept him in the crosshairs until authorities arrived. Yeah, that's a little awkward. They say never bring a knife to a gunfight, and I think that also applies to baseball bats. How stupid is this man? On a scale of 9 to 10, I'd say a 9. He could have just faked the gun. Oh, why didn't he do that? You know when you put your hand in your coat and it looks like a gun? I remember doing that when I was 7. Got all the candy I wanted. Granted, I do think he just felt bad for me. I think he's like, all right, this kid's just a little retarded, so I'll let him take whatever candy he wants. And I only took one giant Crunch bar. I was a fat kid, so I didn't want myself to eat that much. Joey Miller and Matthew McNelly. These men were behind likely the worst and least thought out disguises in the history of crime. When committing their misdeed, they didn't use the masks, hoods, or balaclavas. Is that the... Yeah, that's the... Typical of most criminals, but instead chose to draw on their faces with permanent marker. Now, before we read more, were they going for like blackface? While it may have made them hard to recognize during the crime, permanent marker is, as the name suggests, notoriously hard to remove. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Which left the men extremely easy to identify when the police were looking for the culprits. Yeah, maybe they should have used washable markers instead. Clow Schmidt. In August of 1995, a man in Berlin decided to rob a bank with a handgun. Now, this acted out like a pretty standard bank robbery until the tellers asked him, "Do you need a bag?" To which Schmidt responded, "You're damn right it's a real gun." This made it obvious to the tellers that the robber was deaf. With this new realization, they sounded the alarm, which notified the police, while Schmidt was none the wiser. In a funny twist, Schmidt later sued the bank for apparently abusing his... I was just gonna say that! That's fucked up. How dare you abuse his disability? Expose him for his disability. They are the ones that should be in prison. Let my man Klaus go. On the other hand, why didn't he just wear a hearing aid? Or was he completely deaf? You know, isn't there like a... There's a spectrum. He must have been like... Deaf.
I've been getting death threats.
You mean death threats?
Not this time.
In another world, it would have been like, do you need a bag? And the deaf guy's like, do you want me to gag? Just put the money in the bag. Don't confuse me right now. So in this situation, I would... God, if I was deaf, which, in all fairness, I do have very selective hearing, so... If I was him, my game plan would be anytime anyone said anything at me, I would just yell I would scream at them. Do you need a bag? Ah! Okay, alright, fine. I won't give you a fucking bag. James Blankenship. While attempting to break into and rob his own mother's home during broad daylight... Okay. It's a good start. James Blankenship got spooked and went to hide in the crawl space. When apprehended by police, Blankenship was extremely stunned because he didn't think it was possible to get arrested for burglary during the day. That's right, this guy thought he couldn't be arrested because it wasn't nighttime. Holy fuck. That's just a new level of fucking stupid idiot. You know, despite it being completely bright outside and being able to see almost everything, that's not a bad theory because crime only happens at night for the most part. So doing it during the day is going against the grain. He's built different. Criminals really gotta switch things up. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. It's just so boring. Like, give the cops something new. But also, breaking into and robbing his own mother's home. For a trio of drug thieves, it was their lucky day. They broke into a home in Silver Springs, Florida, and discovered 3 jars of cocaine. Now that's a good day. Unless there's fent, it's actually probably going to be the worst day you've had. Shout out fentanyl. No, okay. They took it home and snorted the contents. That's when they discovered that the jars were in fact urns and that they were snorting the cremains of the victim's husband and 2 dogs? Could you imagine you're snorting lines with your friends? All of a sudden you look up and your homie's in the corner just looking at you like, what the hell? Why would they just snort something random? Well, it's Florida. I've learned my lesson on snorting random things. You know, first it was bath salts. Accidentally ate a person. Guilty. And I decided from then on, I was like, you know what? I'm going to chill on that. Also, the last time I actually did snort something, this is actually me being serious. It felt like I was dying. And normally when you snort things, that's not the feeling you want to have. I also didn't know what it was. Still don't know what it was. And like, for instance, cocaine, I don't even like it. I haven't done it in, I want to say like 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, 2 weeks, maybe like 3 days. And I'm never doing it again. The Telltale Trousers. When an attempted robbery at a Lowe's home improvement store... Are you fucking serious? Went awry, Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped a fence right into the Cypress Cove Nudist Resort and Spa. Hot. As one of the only folks wearing clothing, Hodges was easily spotted by police. See, where he went wrong was not doing the robbery naked in the first place. What I do is I absolutely stun the person I'm robbing by just going in butt-ass naked, they are so shocked when they see my shriveled up little tiny cock. They just hand over all they hand over all of the money. They just can't stop staring at it. They're like, please, just take whatever you want. Just get that shit out of my face. Naturally, because I'm so nervous, it's just basically inside of me. And they're like, is that a giant clit? Or is it, I don't know. It works like a charm. And then when I leave, I just put on clothes. Brilliant. P.S. Nobody move. It's the worst possible time to faint. In the middle of robbing a bank. Yeah, well, there's better times to faint, I guess. Actually, is there any time to...
that you embrace?
But that's what happened to a Beaver Creek, Ohio thief. The teller called 911 and asked for medics, but you have to applaud the man's stick-to-it-iveness. What the fuck was that? While the ambulance was en route, the suspect handed a note to the teller demanding all her cash. All right. I do applaud him to his stick-to-it-iveness. I, on the other hand, would die of embarrassment, or I would use that as a chance to get out of it. I'd be like, oh my god, I just had such a weird dream that I was trying to rob a bank. Oh shit. That's gonna do it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. Subscribe. We're just so close to 1 million. One piece of advice before I go is don't ever sleep with immediate family members. Don't do it.